What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today, I'm going to be doing a response video to my good buddy, 8BitGlitch79, who I believe he initially did a response video to Steve Craig's retro games. So I've come up with five things that I would love to have in my game room. Now, this was actually a little bit easier than I thought. I had a few items that I was going to have on the top five that after a little bit more thought, I decided to give them the boot out of the top five. But these are the top five things that I would like to have in my game room. Number five, a Joe Musashi action figure. Whether it's this size here of Magneto, or losing his cape there, or this size here of Nathan Drake from Uncharted, or even a bit smaller to the size of the Hasbro or Kenner Star Wars action figure size, just a cool Joe Musashi figurine. Now, when I thought of this, I decided to look it up and see if there are any, and as I've been showing here in a few pictures, there are. Now, I'm not crazy about them because I would prefer the more Revenge of Shinobi style with the more gray and red suit. But however, beggars can't be choosers, and the ones that are available are actually really awesome and is going to be something I'm going to look into getting and adding to the display. So yeah, number five, a Joe Musashi action figure. Number four just so happens to be one that my buddy Turbo Joe selected in his top five things he'd like in his game room. For me, I'm a big fan of Star Wars. I'm a big fan of Lego. And though I'm not quite as knowledgeable on the Star Wars lore as Turbo Joe, I still very much love the story and the characters all the same. And with being Boba Fett and Jango Fett flying that Slave One, I absolutely love this shit. Now, I'm going to briefly talk about my love for Lego. Now, I'm not a collector. I have very few sets and I'm very selective on what I do pick and choose and buy at my age today. But one thing I've always been a sucker for when it comes to Lego are ships. The thing I love so much about Lego ships is that they're complete pieces. They're not just front display cases that open a little bit. They're complete in what their structure is. And tie in Marvel ships and Star Wars ships and I'm absolutely sold. You add my favorite ship, the Slave One from Star Wars, with possibly my favorite characters in Jango or Boba Fett from all the Star Wars characters. Not my favorite, but definitely top five. It's a must have, and it's one I really wish was here. But when you look at those prices, how crazy is that? It was very expensive when it came out. And for the exact same reason Joe currently doesn't have it in his list and in his game room is the same reason it's not in my game room. The thing is expensive as hell, and it's only going up in price. Now, if Lego were to say make a good scaled down version for $100, I would definitely add it to the list of ships. But they do have some older ones that were cheaper, around the $125 mark, but they look like ass. To quote the angry video game nerd, they do. They look like ass. They do. They look like shit. That one for $500, $600, $400 is awesome. It's so well made. It looks so perfect. And it's a good quality size. And the Slave One was a good quality size ship. And it would look dope as hell with the next of these. Number three, whether it's an actual arcade machine or preferably an arcade one-up. The reason I would prefer an arcade one-up is though arcade machine cabinets are actually better in pretty much every way, shape, and form, except for the fact that they've been abused over many years in many places by many people, and they're getting old. And something I know about my local game store and the owner himself owning a good 30 machines or more is they do break down frequently. Where a lighter, more obtainable, and probably more reliable, no question, an arcade one-up would be something I would love in my game room. Actually, truth be told, I have room for about three quite comfortably. And though they're expensive and a little bit out of my price range, it's a big commitment to buy something as expensive as that. Something like Marvel vs. Capcom 2, which I consider probably the best versus fighting game of all time, would get a ton of use in my place. And while being a huge fan of Outrun and Arcade One-Up currently having an Outrun cabinet out there available, that would also be a really good fit in my game room. And I see plenty of room and possibly an Arcade One-Up entering into my game room in the near future. Number two. Number two is something I've always wanted that has nothing to do with gaming or movies or anything at all. But a samurai sword, a Japanese katana, is just something I love. I've always been a big fan of all sword fighting from all historical figures from around the world, from Norway to the UK to Greece to Turkey, Persia to Japan and China, feudal Japan, if you will. Being a fan of Joe Musashi, the ninja himself from Shinobi. Obviously, I love weaponry and I appreciate a well built weapon. I would want no generic piece of crap display sword. I would definitely need a handmade, 100% tang, quality made, authentic katana for me to even consider owning it. Anything less than an actual handmade, 100% tang would be garbage. No use for it. What I love so much about the katana is it's the perfect weapon. It's fast, it's easy to use, even for someone who's untrained. It's in a very effective, user-friendly weapon. And in the idea of a post-apocalyptic world, a katana is the best weapon. It never runs out of bullets, never runs out of arrows. It just lasts and lasts. It's well built, it's strong, it's fast, it's precise, and it's never going to break down. And it's beautiful. It's a piece of art, in my personal belief. The reason I don't justify getting one is because, again, they are actually cheaper than I would have thought, in the $200 to $500 range. I'm surprised you can get quality katana for $300 that are breathtaking, to be honest. So they are obtainable. The thing is that why I don't have one currently is because can I justify dropping $300 plus on something that will only ever remain on a wall like a picture? I'm sure in my spare time I may dance around in my underwear, spinning a katana blade around like some psycho out of a movie. And that is possible reality if I own a fucking katana sword. But all in all, it's not going to get any use. Not that I'd want to put a katana to use, but I'm just saying, am I going to drop $300 on something that just sits on a wall? And number one. Okay, so yes, my number one would be very difficult to obtain as he's only getting older and seems to be getting a whole lot more grumpier. I imagine if I walked up to him and asked for 6 autographs on these VHSs, he'd probably say something to me along the lines of, "It's bad enough you bothered me for 1 autograph, kid, and now you're bugging me to sign 6 of them." He'd probably roll his eyes and do it and tell me to fuck off. God love Harrison Ford. Been a part of some of the best movies ever, like The Fugitive, good films like Clear and Present Danger, and of course these 6 iconic films, specifically these 3 here, in Raiders of the Lost Ark, my personal favorite, Temple of Doom, and The Last Crusade. I suppose I could pull down the Crystal Skull because it's not as bad as people say, though it's not very good. But these 6 here are like, you know, I know he didn't love playing Han Solo. I know it wasn't his, cup of tea. But like I said, he's a grumpy, interesting guy, a great actor. There's just something very raw and real about his approach to acting. There's just something genuinely likable about many of the characters he has played. I don't know what else to say, but that would absolutely make my game room awesome. And just, that would be something I'd look up to and just be like, damn, like there is a presence to him, a charisma to Harrison Ford, that even in a movie like Cowboys and Aliens, which all things considered was pretty terrible, there's a scene halfway through that film that he absolutely steals the show in that movie in this one particular scene. It's just like, for a moment, that movie was gold. That movie's not gold, that movie is trash, but these movies are awesome. And that is my list of top 5 things I would love to have in my game room to absolutely complete it. And now that I think of it, that would really just actually make my game room so much cooler. And I may even strive to add all 5 of these to my room. Anyways, everyone, thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, smash the like button because that's robotic and cool to say. And if you don't know Turbo Joe and 8BitGlitch79, definitely check them out and check out their top 5 list. And be on the lookout for some other people. If anyone else is seeing this for the first time and you would like to do a response, I'd love to watch, I'd love to listen, I'd love to hear your list of 5 things that you would like to have in your game room. Thanks for watching, guys.
Bum, ba-dum, bum. Ba-dum, ba-do-do-do-do, bum, ba-dum, boop, 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 boo-doo. Ba-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-d